Jay Martin has a good question about our old close personal friend, Mike Tyson. Were there ever any plans to bring Mike Tyson back after his successful run in 1998?
I don't know that there were necessarily solid plans to bring Mike back. However, the communication door was open to discuss with Mike, and Mike ever wanted to get into the ring and maybe do something more. We would have loved to have had Mike Tyson to do more than what he did at WrestleMania. And I think that door was always open for Mike.
I could have seen it like after the 2002 loss to Lennox Lewis or after that fight in DC. I think maybe it was around '05. He just like quit on the stool between rounds. I realize that's not exactly when he's at his peak box office, but it felt like he could have been game for some spectacles.
You
Uh,
know, but it's Mike Tyson.
yeah,
So I don't give a shit if Mike quits in a fight in between. You know what? He's always in the fight.
yeah.
And it's like Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson. I used to have this conversation with Flair all the time when Rick would get depressed and everything and be questioning his worth, if you will, and get really down on himself and go, dude, you're Ric Flair. I mean, nobody can take that away. You're Ric Flair.
That's right.
So no matter what, you're still going to be Ric Flair. And I say the same thing about Mike Tyson, man. And Mike has reinvented himself, and Mike continues to be one of the most popular celebrities out in the world today. And I just think the allure, just people wondering, man, what's Mike going to do? How's he going to do it? No matter what venture he's in, Mike has that kind of appeal. So yeah, man. I think that any time that you could have put Tyson in, I think would have been a nice thing. And again, I just would have liked to have done it in more than just a referee capacity or a side capacity. I would love to have seen Mike in the ring. I think he could have done a fucking bang up job.
Did you guys ever get close to having a discussion about him wrestling a match like a Dennis Rodman or a Karl Malone, where he would have actually stepped between the ropes and quote unquote taken bumps and all that sort of thing?
We discussed it. Shane McMahon had a good relationship with Mike at the time, and it was discussed, but I don't think it went any further than that. I know Mike at that time was looking to resurrect his boxing career. So I don't think that he really wanted to jeopardize that in any way, shape, or form. So it was discussed, but I don't know that it was ever really seriously discussed on Mike's part of training and actually getting in the ring to compete.
Do you think there was ever any sort of an idea? Like I know sometimes, or I shouldn't say I know, I would imagine sometimes you might like the idea of saying, man, what if? And you could sort of fantasy book something in the hopes that maybe the talent would say, oh man, that sounds really fun. Was there ever a fantasy idea for Mike? Like, what if you tagged with so-and-so to wrestle so-and-so sort of thing?
I think that the fantasy, especially in that time frame, was Tyson and Steve Austin.
Yeah.
That was the holy grail, if you will, of outside people that could have worked with Steve. Now, whether or not Steve really would have liked to have done that, I don't know. But to me, that would be the one where I would say, man, I'd like to make that happen.
And how cool would it have been if you somehow find a way to put The Rock in there and The Rock's cutting promos for Mike Tyson, and maybe there's somebody on Steve's
I let
side.
Mike Tyson cut Mike Tyson promos, man. Shit, he was entertaining. Yeah. Let him go. Fuck. It's entertaining.
Just have that dump button ready.
There you go.
In case he does it till you love him.